Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome as always to the SharinGANG podcast. Of course, introducing you today, PT64, and we have a very special guest. Oh yes, SleepyTalk zone, Mr. Luke. How are we doing, bro?
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to get Weeb with it.
That's one way to do it. And of course, as always, we have
Clockwork nerd. How's it going?
And that guy, what's going on?
So tonight it is lightning question round for Mr. Luke. We are going to find out what he's been into, where he's coming from with his nerdy nature, and we can't wait to find out. We can't wait to find out. So I suppose first question. I'll come straight in with the first question. What was the first thing for you, Lou, that got you into like the nerd culture? What was that first thing that grabbed you?
Oh, the first thing, just nerd in general, or Weeb, or
yeah, genuinely, it could be nerdy in general, man. It could be weeby. What grabbed you?
Oh, literally, I got a comic for Christmas when I was like 6. It was Spider-Man, and that set me off.
Oh, gee, probably best. And I'm assuming that ignited a Marvel love, can I assume?
I moved to DC.
My guy.
Man after PT's heart.
Yeah, buddy.
Man after PT's heart. Probably best, right? Probably best. Sorry, all you Marvel fans, right? Sorry about that.
Sorry, Clockwork. Didn't mean to just...
Sorry about that, son.
I love DC and Marvel equally, all right? DC has better villains and, you know, more powerful characters, and Marvel...
It's just with how
Marvel,
upset you are at the Avengers game, I thought that, you was more Marvel.
That doesn't count. That's like the ugly stepchild of Marvel, right?
That's like calling the Resident Evil live action films Resident Evil.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Let's be honest.
Acknowledging any of Netflix's live action stuff.
No.
Mate, have you not done the Bleach live action yet?
No, I watched the Death Note one and I went, this is trash, I'm not watching any again. And
Mate,
then I watched
honestly,
the Full Metal one and went, this is trash, I shouldn't have watched it. What did I do to myself?
To be
I
fair,
haven't watched the Full Metal one, but the Bleach one, especially with now how far you've got in the anime, you can watch the live action one and not spoil yourself. And I enjoyed it.
I did
I'm
as
not
well.
even gonna lie.
Fair.
Don't be wrong. There's definitely, plenty of problems. Like, don't cast to the wayside, integral members of the anime. Like the whole group that leads into season 2. Don't ignore all them.
See, this is the shit I'm talking about with the Netflix adaptations. They just take characters that are integral and go, nah, fuck you. And that's it. That's the end of them.
You're gone. Yeah, definitely.
If nothing more, the action sequences is what stand out in that.
But I can watch the anime for the action sequences. So
I know, but it's just live action, isn't it? And the Japanese live action Death Note is good.
Oh, I know. I've watched that. That is awesome.
That I've not watched. To be fair, we don't speak about that other one. It doesn't exist. But moving swiftly on from that horrendous adaptation. Luke, what would you say what was your first gaming experience? What got you? Because I know you're a gamer. I know you like your video games, just like us lot. What got you hooked on games?
I had a Nintendo 64 not long after I had that comic.
You got off to a good start on this, mate, didn't you? Spider-Man and N64. What?
And I had Turok. Turok was my first game.
Oh, what a game, man!
That was the Resident Evil with dinosaurs, wasn't it? If I remember correctly.
But the thing about Turok was I didn't actually play it because I was too scared to play it. But my dad played it for me, and I sat next to him, and that was like a really good experience for me. It sounds really like weird and stuff, but this is why I love watching PT's Twitch. I just like sitting and watching Daddy.
Well, mate, I'll take that. If anything, you're making me blush, right? If anything, you're making me blush. But I'll tell you what.
Cry.
It's funny. It's funny that you say that because obviously, so many people have looked back at the games that we grew up on and that we're scared of, and just find it laughable. And like, how are you scared? That I will never forget playing Resident Evil 1 on the PS1.
Oh, don't.
And it just being the most horrendous thing I'd come across. Still to this day, I mean, I've played it since, of course, but still to this day, I can never forget that cutscene. Where with the zombie, when you first discover that first zombie and it's biting into that corpse and it turns around and looks at you over its shoulder, that scarred my childhood, that cutscene.
Yeah. So I played it, the first Resi as a child, actually got the full game, and it was up to the point where you meet the first, that monster thing that sort of like is on all fours.
The licker.
Skinned. Yeah.
Resi 2, man, when you're going through the corridor.
Oh, no, this is in the mansion.
Oh,
it was in one of them in the mansion. It's just
the Hunter then? Is that what you're thinking of? The Hunter?
Yeah, it was quite early on in the game. I can't remember what it was called, but
I'm not sure.
You come across it quite early on. It looks like a skinned beast, and I think, if I remember correctly, it like crawls on walls and stuff as well.
Because what you're describing to me is a licker. That's what you're describing to me for sure.
No, because Resi 2 was the one where you start off in the street and you have to run
Leon Kennedy, God tier.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But I got to that bit. It was like the first just non-basic zombie enemy you've seen. It's about 25 minutes of gameplay in, and I never, even to this day, have gone back to the first Resident Evil. I'm not even lying to you. No.
Man, you want to try going to that remake on GameCube then when they threw Crimson Heads in? That was horrific. They totally changed the dynamic. Obviously, in the original Resident Evil Director's Cut, the greatest, when you were playing that, and obviously you killed zombies, they were dead. But in the remake, which was so ahead of its time graphically, it was an absolutely gorgeous game on the GameCube. It was phenomenal. And you would kill zombies, and if you didn't burn their corpse or blow their head off, they got up again. Maybe 4 to 5 times later that you go through that room. So you'd go through so many times, it'd just be laid there. You're like, right, no worries. Let's put it this way. Enough times for you to get comfortable with its corpse. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're just drifting on past, don't worry about it. And then suddenly they just get up. And I don't just mean like, they start shuffling and... No. I mean, they literally just rise up like no arms. And just sprint at you. Sprint at you, man. Like, they so much more, like, they take so much more damage. They rip at you with their claws. They're horrific, man. They're terrifying, honestly. And that just upped the game, did that. It made it so much worse. Having to plan your route around the mansion because you knew you had no, like, fuel left to burn them. So you had to plan around them so you didn't go past them and, like, scratch off one of your goes. It was horrible.
Nah. I couldn't do any of the Resident Evils. I tried the second one. I tried Nemesis. I got in no more than 40 minutes into any of them before. I can't play. I was even scared by the first Metal Gear Solid. I was scared of getting caught. I don't know what it was. I'm not even lying to you. I couldn't. It took me so many attempts just to get to the elevator.
Man,
I had to be an adult before I finished that game.
Start getting anxiety again.
Those exclamation marks, mate, they still haunt me to this day.
Mate, so good. You've got mate, I'm sorry to do this to you, but you've got to slip that music in somewhere around here.
Please.
Yeah. I'll get the sound effect.
You will hear it. Sound effect music. Oh, man, yes. Amazing. That's so good. So from the N64...
Yep.
Was it a case of, obviously, despite, not being able to play Turok and whatnot, obviously enjoying games, etc., was it something that you then, because I know, I've known people in the past who have ended up getting consoles as presents. They're gamers, they enjoy it, but they don't seek out more themselves. Do you know what I mean? It tends to be more gift orientated. But was that something that from then ignited that, that love for it? I need more. These consoles coming out. Did it properly spark your interest, should we say?
No. Not at that point, no.
Really?
I remember coming home from school one day and my N64 was gone and there was a PS1 in its place.
Really?
Yeah, my dad just
evolved.
swapped it. No, he just went up and swapped it. I think he wanted to play the PS1 because he bought the N64 as well. And it wasn't like a Christmas gift or anything. It was just we had a games console. And do you know what? I am forgetting the first ever game that I played. I am completely forgetting the first ever game I'm playing. I played. I'm sorry. No, it wasn't N64. my nan had like a 1996 Windows desktop.
All right.
There was a code that you could put in. It wasn't called the BIOS then, but it's practically a BIOS, and you could play Doom.
Oh.
I remember my uncle showing me, and it was the original Doom.
Yeah.
So sorry, missed that one out.
Very mad. No, if anything, I'm glad. I'm glad that you brought it up after the fact, because I completely, I always forget. I used to have, Windows 98 PC, Doom 2 for me. God, just going on a no-clip mish.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Straight no clipping, straight through. All those dirty cheats back in the day, you know what I mean? Just walking through walls and that. Oh, great times. Played it to death, that game.
Quake Arena, I think, I want to say, was my first multiplayer experience where I'm not sat next to the person or split screening.
Oh, I'd really have to think about that, like my actual first online multiplayer game. Ooh, now you're making
This wasn't even online. This was just local play. An uncle of mine had various PCs, and he had it hooked up, had it on all of them, and he showed me and my brothers when we went over there how to play against each other, and it completely blew my mind. I'm like, he's moving, and I can see where he's moving on his screen, and it's doing it on my screen. Yeah. What is this witchcraft? Do you know what I mean? These boxes of technology and magic. Wow.
I know, man. Even when you were like LAN playing Halo with your mates, like Halo 1. Do you know what I mean? You were like, if you ever like LAN played that was one of those games.
All the TVs together and all the consoles together.
Yeah, and you're all sat around. Yeah, that was awesome. That was proper crazy. And to be honest, thinking about it, it probably would be some Halo game that ended up being like my first online. Because I don't think I played online until the 360. I didn't, because I never did on the original Xbox. You could, but I never did.
It was a War Lake, if I remember.
I did on the PS2.
Did you?
I did it. It was Battlefront 2. I'm pretty sure it was Battlefront 2 that was
you had
the
to get the
first
external
one.
hard drive or the hard drive add-on that you have to put in the back to go online.
So I had the adapter, and then you had a Ethernet cable that could go into that.
Yeah. And that's when you're definitely into gaming. By that point, well and truly, getting those add-ons for your console. Yeah. You're like getting a Sega disc, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? When you had like a Mega Drive.
Oh, yeah, I remember those.
The GameCube add-ons that you could get.
Oh yeah, they're insane.
Man, there was what? Are we talking the mass amount we had, or the ridiculous catalogue of Japanese ones?
The ridiculous catalogue. There was a camera.
Crazy stuff.
Man, I was going to say, tell me I was not the only person so jealous at the time of everyone who had a Game Boy camera. Like, did you have one? Yeah. Mate, there was always that one guy.
But I was jealous.
There was always that one guy
with one.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did. And it was one of those things. There's always that one kid who always had that gnarly stuff that you didn't quite ascend into greatness and get that Game Boy camera.
You could print them off. You could make everybody look like Michael Jackson and print them off and stuff. I remember now.
Immediately. Yeah. You could print off like a Polaroid camera, mate.
Yeah.
They were always the kid with the N64 Pokemon edition with Pokemon Snap that came with it.
Yeah, 100%.
Then they got every single like Game Boy Color in stupid turquoise green or whatever. And a matching camera color that they'd wrapped in decals and stuff from the Max Power magazine. They were the kids. They were the kids.
So true.
I had the Pokemon N64, but it wasn't anywhere near release. Like this was version on PS2 days.
So late. So after the fact. And to be honest, I think apart from like the odd covers and decals, I don't think I've ever bought like a special edition. Do you know what I mean? Of a console.
This will make you laugh. I had the Halo Reach 360.
Did you?
I'm a massive fan of Halo. I just like the fact that it made noises.
Yeah, I got the Gears of War.
I had the Gears of War one as well. Yeah, I got that one next. That one didn't make any noises though, did it?
See, I always got
the Gears of War 3 one did.
Yeah.
Did it?
The red one with the skull, the black.
Yeah. I've still got the controllers on it.
The control pad looks sick. Yeah, the control pads look dope for that. Yeah.
Oh,
I sold one of those not too long ago. Actually.
Halo 3 one.
Yeah. It matched a guitar that I had. I had a vintage Metal Axe guitar, what was in black and red as well, and they looked like they were just made to be together.
I still
didn't play on the Xbox too much. Didn't play on the guitar too much. Just used to sit them next to each other and enjoy looking at them.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you just gotta appreciate the look, can't you?
Yeah.
Didn't that guy, didn't you have the black PlayStation 1, like the mod?
Oh
edition
snap! Yeah, I didn't even know what it was at the time. Yeah, my dad came back from work. He worked in South London when we lived in East London, and used to always come back with shady stuff that back of the car boot stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I got your PlayStation. Oh wow, it's black and and there's all this extra stuff you could do on it. We didn't have a flipping clue. I didn't even know what I was onto until an older stepbrother of mine came round and lost his mind when he saw it. And then at that point onwards, I just cherished. Still didn't understand like what a debugging mode was or anything like that, but knew that it was precious because my older brother, who I looked up to, just lost his mind when he saw it.
Yeah,
he's sounding more and more.
Something.
He's sounding more and more like that kid. More he talks.
You mate. I know. If I dig around hard enough, I'm finding that fucking camera. I'm finding that Game Boy camera under your bed, mate.
I never had the camera. I never had that. Nah, I never had that. I wanted to make everybody look like Michael Jackson on the Game Boy, but no. I wonder how much those things will go for now.
Oh,
who knows? Who knows?
Wait. Anyway, talking about unnecessary extras like Mr. Rob, what are you saying?
No.
Rob is necessary. You've got the ultimate.
Necessary.
Mate, I was too young to have any say in that. And you know that better than anybody, because as I've told you guys before, we might have even talked about it on the podcast. I don't remember many sleeps since then. I didn't even know I had that thing until I was early to mid-20s.
Yeah.
It would just been sat in the loft. Well, bless her, unknowingly in the back of my mind, my mum's like, fuck you. You don't know nothing about Rob, right?
The worst kind of child cruelty that.
Mate, keeping Rob from me. I tell you what, honestly, it took some digging to find like an old TV I could plug in. like now he's unusable pretty much. He's just like a display item that's not on display because he's too precious, but he's he's mint condition. He's absolutely mint condition. Like, I just don't really want to get him out and him not be mint condition.
Damaged by the sunlight and the air particles floating around.
I'm talking about all that dust going on him. Just don't need that. I don't want all that dust on him.
So, what was your console after? You went onto the PS1, and then I'm assuming PS2, then 360, and then did you carry on after that? Or?
Yeah, you went straight from PS2 to 360 though. I was expecting PS3, but you got it bang on.
The PS2 was better. Was in my eyes better than the Xbox One, and the 360 was better than the PS3 in my own personal opinion.
Yeah.
So that's the route that I went.
agree with that.
Yeah, but you've nailed it because like a lot of parents would go get the same thing really.
Yeah.
Whereas I bought my own 360. So I got my 360 very late compared to my friends.
Swag.
Because my parents wouldn't get me one. It was nothing to do with... I don't know why they didn't get me one. I think it might have been to do with money. Like I went on my skiing trips and things like that with school. But so it was kind of like I had memories and experiences more than I had like...
Yeah, it was one of those classic compromise things, isn't it? It's like, look, it's either going to be, we can do one, it's either got to be this or this. What you say?
Yes, so I think it was that. And obviously, like, well, I don't know about you guys, but I don't have really rich parents. Like, not poor, but like not able to afford a skiing trip in Austria and then
same mate,
getting a new console a few weeks later. So, but yeah, I bought my 360 on my 16th birthday. So my grandparents set up a bank account for me when I was a whippersnapper. Put 50 quid in, completely forgot about the account. Got it with Bradford and Bingley's, if you remember them.
Just about.
Yeah. Santander took them over, so I've still got a Santander account that I don't use, but Bradford and Bingley's, they put £50 in 1992, and I opened it up 16 years later.
Nice. And then when you got yourself a console.
The interest on it was about 390 quid. So I bought myself an Elite and loads of games like Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty 4. I can't remember the others because they were less important. Halo 3, sorry. Halo 3 as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, no Halo.
Yeah, Halo 3 as well.
The 360s?
Yeah. So 120 gigabyte hard drive. They were the boy back then.
I loved it. Like I got it from my little brother's mate who didn't really game too much, so his parents allowed him to sell it to me, and then it started red ringing within a couple of weeks, and I was like, no. Spoke to the kid took it back, and his parents sent it off and got me a Spankers one.
Nice.
And yeah, that
I was lucky, to be fair. With my 360, very lucky. I ended up getting mine for free. It was basically at the time, my sister, her fella was, he was minted. He really was. Like, you know, we're talking, he bought his own Porsche at 21. You know what I mean? He was minted, and we went, you know, we used to like go places, you know, Meadowhall, yada yada. Anyway, we went into the town centre, into the local Currys, and he was just like, how many Xbox 360s you got? And I, you know, he didn't say what we're going in for or anything. He just went up and went, how many you got? And she was like, oh, I think we've got about 6 left. He was like, I'll take them. but honestly, I promise you, I helped him carry him to the car. I promise you.
Get 6 of them and a Game Boy camera, please.
And honestly, yeah, seriously, dig out the box in the back, right? And and he took these, honestly, and we got back, and he was like, you know, he gamed here and there, but he weren't that bothered, but he knew I was a big gamer, you know, enjoyed like sitting and having a little game with me here and there. Anyway, I was like, right, let's crack one open then, got it all set up and that. And I said to him after the fact, there's only one controller. This was back when the original 360, it was just a core one, not the Elite, just the core. It just bought all the cores, needed a memory card. Do you know what I mean? All that stuff. Yeah. Anyway, I said to him, it's not got this, it's not got this. So back out he went, bought like 3 games, memory card, everything else it needed, like an extra controller, came back, boom, that's them, sorted. And he was like, I'm just going to leave it here. He didn't give it me. He was just like, you know what I mean? I'm just going to leave it here because I don't really have time when I'm back home. So I'll play when I get up here. Anyway, next time he came up, he was like, yeah, yours that.
What a legend.
Seriously. No, just left me with it all, yeah. And then I upgraded and bought myself a hard drive for it. Clipped that bad boy in the top. Still got it to this day.
Did you get the 60 gig or the 120 for that one?
I can't remember, man. I'll be honest, I don't remember. But I remember buying like the hard drive that you could buy. Obviously, the Elite just came with as standard.
Yeah, 120
and
gig.
Taking the little grill thing off the top and slotting that bad boy in. Yeah,
yeah.
So satisfying doing that, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh man, it was the upgrade was out of this world. Do you know what I mean? Put the memory card back in its little like see-through case in a drawer, never to be used again.
I ended up getting that Gears of War edition, the Gears of War 3. So it was the Xbox. It was a slim Xbox 360
slim one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a triangle that had been cut out the front, but I ended up getting that for 20 quid, and I'll tell you how. Right. So the 360, the Elite one that I'd got, had completely gone. The hard drive had gone on it. So literally just got a memory card to stick in the front in one of those slots. And it did boot up and you could put a game on it, but it was like one game. And then on Facebook Marketplace, someone was selling a white one for like 20 quid. And I thought, do you know what? I'll get one just in case this one like fries or whatever. Anyway, the disc tray wouldn't open. So I managed to glue a little piece into the disc tray to stop it from fully closing, but still able to work. And then they announced that if you traded it in a 360 console, the local game, you could get like 250 quid knocked off of this.
What?
So I went in and took both. Yeah, it was on a special. They did one for the Star Wars one, you know, the R2D2.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And I missed out on that one because I was like, I don't need a new one. And then the Gears of War 3 one was out, and I was like, I need this. Yeah. So anyway, I'd spent 20 quid on that 360, the white one that the disc tray was faulty on. Took it in, they tested it, it opened and closed like straight away, and I was so happy.
You were there sweating away, bum twitching.
Yeah,
I was just about to say.
They were like, it don't work like that. It worked, and then they took the black one and it booted up, and I was like, yes, the memory card of dreams. And I chucked in a few games that I didn't play, and it turned out that I got it for free. Basically, I spent 20 quid on that other console, and then obviously I traded things in, but not paying a penny other than that 20 quid.
Yeah.
Some nice upcycling, man.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
So lucky.
I remember taking stuff into to trade in it. I don't know. Some people call it sex. I call it kex because sex is just a little bit awkward.
I call it CEX.
I call it its name too.
Yeah, me too.
Sorry. Listen, I came across it when I was in Nottingham, all right? So I was going by...
Druppy Kex?
It's
not Gex the Gecko, do you know what I
mean? In Nottingham, like, the CEX, we'll call it that, then the CEX bags replaced the JD bags. And if you had a CEX bag, you was a bad man. Like, and then it went back to having a JD bag, signaling that you're on the roads. And
I'm gonna say, I love the symbolism of, you know what I mean, of like how about bad manning you are.
Yeah, I trade stuff in all the time. I'm a bad man.
Yeah.
And I would always get sweaty whenever like they said, "Oh, you have to leave it here for us to test. Come back and then we'll see." I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to go. What if it doesn't work? What if you know what I mean?" Even though 9 times out of 10 it was all legit stuff that worked fine, but it's just I don't know, the way they would like say, "Oh, we need to test it," would make me feel like I'm trying to scam them or something.
Yeah.
When in actual fact they're the real scammers, because they'll give me like, I don't know, just say for instance 20 quid for something and then sell it on for £90.
Yeah,
I'd sell it in the window 2 days later. You
were in Nottingham.
Bastards. Yeah.
So I'm not surprised you thought you were trying to scam them.
Yeah, I know. I get it. Yeah, come in. Like,
to be fair, I don't think it matters which one you go to. Like, and see, my luck would be I'd go in. Oh yeah, we just got to test it. And the guy I gave it to shift ended, right? And he's gone home. And when I come back and I'm going, "You've got something of mine." Nah, I don't know anything about that, mate.
Yeah, shifty. If you actually need to find anybody that you need services from somebody that's a bit shifty, just go hang outside one of those shops and you'll find somebody to do whatever shifty business you need walking in or out of there.
So I sold a GameCube years ago that tried selling it in CEX. What is it? They weren't like particularly bothered. They were offering me ridiculous money, and I told them how much I wanted, and they were just like, no, we can't give you that. Guy turns around next to me and just be like, "Can we speak outside, mate?"
Yeah, there's always that guy in there.
Straight outside, yeah, and he's just like, I'll give you that. Do you know what I mean? It's like 50 quid for this little bundle. Yeah, 50, mate. Yeah, I've got the cash. Here you go. Boom, I'll have it right now. The only thing he cared about was something I deeply regret selling. And the thing is, and this is why I do not trade, sell, or anything like that, my belongings, and I haven't done for well over a decade. I do not get rid of any of my stuff.
Yeah. Not anymore.
Not anymore. Not anymore, because I always regret it. And every time I would go, "I'm not going to play that game again, I'm going to get rid of it," I always wanted to play it again.
Yeah. It's a bit like my Assassin's Creed jacket, Clockwork.
Do you want it back? I still haven't worn it.
Do you know what? I doubt I'm going to fit in it anyway. If it just about fit you, I'm not going to fit in it. But like, as you know, I was bang into a Assassin's Creed. But by the time I fell out of love with it, by Assassin's Creed 4, I was like, I'm done with this now. Gave away all of the graphic novels I had and all the extra stuff. I even had the medallion that you get with the limited edition because I bought the special edition. I bought the special edition Assassin's Creed 3. I pre-ordered it and everything.
Oof.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing, did I? I was just very much in love with Assassin's Creed at the time.
None of us did. None of us knew what we were walking into, mate. You weren't the only one. I was right there with you, trust me. I didn't know I was walking into
All I remember is hearing that you can like assassinate people from out of trees and climb trees. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be like Mowgli in the jungle or something.
Man.
Then I am on this. And then it wasn't that at all.
And then you got Connor.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that's all you need, isn't it? Then you got Connor, and I know that I went into that game with expectations, and I came out a changed man. Let's put it that way, for the worse.
A lot of people hate it because of Connor, but to be honest with you, the reason I disliked Assassin's Creed 3 the most is walking around in the snow.
Oh, fuck the snow.
Because when it snowed, you'd move slower, and even your sprint would move slower. And if it was deep snow, and I'm like, no, because assassins never move slowly, ever. Nothing slows them down. This is not Assassin's Creed. Get the fuck out of here.
The
Take
thing,
your
like,
emo self out of here.
Yeah, if there's a slow route, you take the fast route. Which at that moment would have been the trees, right? Especially how, the whole
sometimes
integration.
They're not everywhere. Sometimes they weren't always there. Sometimes like...
Oh, no, I don't mean for you, I just mean like in these situations, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Give us the option at least.
In general. This is what I'm saying, man. Yeah. Absolutely.
I was impressed by the sound effects. It sounded like I was moving through snow and the footsteps. I'm like, that's quite cool.
That's not good for me.
But it's still taking me too long to move somewhere.
Yeah, I hate realism. Like the crunching of snow goes through me. Like I can't. That's one of those noises that just goes through me weirdly. So when I was playing Code Vein, there's a snow area, and that was like the super crunchy sound effect. I'm just like every step I'm taking, it was awful.
When you were streaming it, actually, I remember sort of getting mildly annoyed at the ching every step.
Oh yeah,
sort of took, like,
sometimes.
Yeah, but it was a fun game to watch.
It's different when you hear those kind of sounds, and it's a good thing. It's when you're one thick boy on Dark Souls. Do you know what I mean? When you're walking through with your thick boy armor and your big old shield, that's when you want to hear chink chink.
Yeah,
for sure, chinking of the armor, boy.
Let's get back to Luke. Clockwork, have you got any questions for him?
Maybe on the Marvelly front?
Yeah.
I was actually going to take it the anime route. We haven't down there yet today.
Yes.
Like,
Please do.
What was the first anime that really got you?
I think it's the same answer for everyone. It's Pokemon, isn't it?
No.
For a lot of people. For a lot of people.
It is the answer for a lot of people.
I loved Pokemon as like Pokemon. Because when I was a kid, I didn't know what anime was. So watching Pokemon, it was just Pokemon, do you know what I mean? And I really enjoyed it, definitely. I really did. But yeah, it was it definitely wasn't the one that like got me into anime as a whole. But completely understandable why it would be the one to get you in.
Yeah, so if we're gonna if we go down to specifics, so for my adult life, so I've only been into anime for sort of like the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
not been that long.
Late bloomer, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, late bloomer. But obviously, I watched a bit of DBZ and things like that when I was a kid. But I'll class that as same as Pokemon. It was a
that's like mandatory in it these days.
Children, and then when you grow up, I've rediscovered it and I enjoy it again now. And I understand a lot more references and things like that. But I'd say I think it's a toss up between two, but I think it was Fairy Tail.
Yes. Yes.
But it
you
could be.
Gonna say you have elated Clockwork with that.
It could be Sword Art Online.
Double yes.
Yeah,
it's Sword Art Online. Okay,
it's one of those two.
Talk to me about Sword Art Online, because
he's fed up hearing about Fairy Tail.
No, it's not even that. It's just that like I don't know anything of Fairy Tail really, other than the little bit that I watched when you came around here and we did that reaction vid. But Sword Art Online, it's I love it and I hate it. It just depends what part of Sword Art Online. I don't hate it, but I love it, or I'm just indifferent.
See, I'm super intrigued because I don't know a great deal about Sword Art, so I'm so intrigued to hear these two sides. But please, Luke, Sword Art Online.
Okay, so well, it depends which way I want to go with it. So I watched the anime first. So I watched a lot of the anime. I think I'm a bit of a weeb when it comes to isekai. So getting stuck in like game worlds and things like that. I do like that sort of thing, but I also like the fantasy thing, like Fairy Tail, where there's dragons and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And fighting and big roars and fire and stuff, you know.
The good stuff. The good stuff.
The good shit.
We love it.
I didn't think I'd enjoy SAO as much as what I actually do. So I went in with low expectations, like a guy who's wielding a sword and stuck in a game. I thought, we'll give it a go. It were on Netflix, and I thought, let's just give it a try. Do you know what, mate? Blown away. Yeah. Blown away with how good and how detailed that anime was. And I've looked back at it now because I've finished the latest season, and the quality is still just as good. They've changed the engine of how they're making it now, but the quality is still just as good as what it was years ago when I watched it.
And if you remember how many, because I tend to judge, like, you know, when you get like the full anime quality, you know just how quality by how many episodes it took before you were this is taking over my life. How many episodes until you knew it was going to be the one?
2.
There you go. Do you know what I mean? Like straight away. That's what you need. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. No diarrhea episode. No, do you know what I mean? Like, and this is the thing. Like, fucking it's always going to come back up, boys. You know this on the SharinGANG podcast.
No smashing watermelons on a beach randomly.
Absolutely. No classic. Yeah, day out at the beach. Yeah, none of that. Yeah. Beautiful.
Well, you're into the light novels as well, though, aren't you?
Yeah. So. I thought that season 2 was bearable, so the Gun Girl Online. I thought it was bearable, but my mate at work said, "Oh, did you want to borrow the I've forgotten the word for it now. It's the light novel for it, the progressive version."
And
I said, I'm probably not going to read it, but yeah, send it over. My God, blown away even more. The detail in that light novel.
Really?
I ended up spending about 70 quid when I was in Spain on my Kindle. Just because I'd got the book, I'd read it, and then I was like, I need more. Yeah. We went on holiday, and Ellis was so upset with me just for the fact that I'd just been next to the pool reading her Kindle and spending money on it, buying the next light novel that was coming out, and I just keep reading and reading. Amazing. I think I got like 11 books in, and we'd still only gotten to like floor 11, 12, something like that.
That progressed through every single level, if I know correctly. Yeah.
Well, so I hope, because after that holiday, I didn't actually pick up any more, which I'm really disappointed in.
Yeah.
I think I put it down because I realized that I was being a boring person. Yeah, and I was addicted. So I put it down. Yeah. Picked up smoking instead. And here we are.
Brilliant. What a transition. Yeah.
Just to cope with the loss, you had to take up.
Right, moral of the story, dear listeners, right? If you get into anime and or manga, strap in.
Don't give it up.
Because you better hope that you're going to stick with it, right? Don't end up like Luke.
Giving it up,
increase knowing that you've not finished it.
It is now that we're talking about it. I'd forgotten about it, and I'm muting myself while I just like inject some nicotine into my eyeballs just to get it in the system. So if you do pick up light novels, I can't say the same for anime, but light novels, and you get into them, there is an increased risk of heart failure if you give up.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it's just like manga, isn't it? Really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I find it so much harder to come away from a manga I'm reading than an anime I'm watching. Even if it's the same anime, if it's the anime of the manga.
And you already know what's going to happen.
Yeah. I can jump over to the manga. But if I've started the manga, I find it hard to jump over to the anime, if you know what I mean.
I find half the time the reason that it's so hard to stop reading a manga is quite simply because if it's a good one, 9 times out of 10, you're in the middle of a fight. That's why you don't want to stop reading it. Do you know what I mean? 9 times out of 10, you're in the middle of some awesome bit where there's some big fight. God forbid. I mean, it's like, when you get those fights that are the equivalent of Orochimaru against Saratobi.
Yeah.
That kind of length, like just episode after episode, like some fights go on. It's like, funnily enough, when I was reading through One Punch Man, there are areas of One Punch Man where it's just action. And because when one fight, you not only flip between numerous fights, when one ends, another one's probably starting. So it's pretty much like constant, do you know what I mean? You get the odd little bits of lull, and then it's just back to the action again. So I think that's another reason why it's just so solid, because it's just non-stop, just awesome fight sequences in just the best drawn animation. And I do want to call it animation. That's not a wrong word to use, seriously. If you've not read the One Punch Man manga, read it, and you'll know what I mean by drawn animation. It is
just turn it into a flip book, and it outshines the anime.
Man, I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen drawing like it. So much motion. and force in drawing. It's
no, legitimately, there are people that have done these videos on YouTube, and they've turned each cell into like a flip book and then just played it really quickly, and they've then showed the same scene in the anime, and there isn't as much. It doesn't look like there's as many frames.
As much like impact and whatnot. Yeah, honestly, I've never felt force out of like a book. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've never felt force by looking at a picture. And like you see something in anime and you do the classic like, oh, they get this massive hit and you're like, oh shit. But you're reading it and going, ooh. Yeah, it's like it's never happened to me before that.
No. Never. When you think back on it as well, we said this before, don't we? When you think back on manga that I always get confused, especially with Naruto, because I've seen a massive portion of the anime and then finished it off in the manga.
Yeah.
But in my head, the whole thing might as well have just been anime because it's all animated and looking awesome in my head.
Yeah.
And then when I watch the anime bits of the bits that I read, I'm like,
how is the manga more animated?
I don't recall like this going like that. I recall it happening a bit differently or looking a bit differently or sounding different. And it's because I never actually watched it before. That's just the joy of using your imagination, I suppose.
I can never ever like implore somebody enough who's like, if you're a huge fan of Naruto, you've only ever watched the anime, even if it is only just the 4th Great Ninja War arc, like straight through to the end, just to seriously read it in the manga. Like, it is next level. All the fights, everything. It's drawn and it's just beautiful. In the way it's done in the manga is how it was just the furthest from being done in the anime.
One thing that I've found recently is Demon Slayer or Kimetsu no Yaiba.
Yeah, Kimetsu no Yaiba, absolutely.
It's better in the anime. It's for the first time ever, I would recommend somebody to watch the anime over the manga. Normally, bits are missed out in the anime versus the manga, but not at all from what I've noticed in the Demon Slayer manga so
far everything's included,
bang on, exactly the same. But because I watched the first season of the anime, and then because you said the manga's quite short, so okay, I'll finish the breaker. I'll move over to Demon Slayer. Yeah. I mean, I was thinking this is going to be a thing that's going on for years and years and years of how good the first season of the anime was.
Me too.
I didn't think it was already finished.
Me neither.
But the anime just looks so. It's like
it's
one
unreal,
of the
man.
best looking animes ever, and the manga.
Agreed.
I would have thought would have been one of the best looking mangas ever, but for me personally, it's not.
See, I mean, I still really enjoyed it. I think the only main thing I would say, of course. I think the main thing I would say to people is if you want to finish Demon Slayer before you die, then read it. Otherwise, hold out, and maybe you might just catch that final arc on your deathbed.
I mean, understanding how anime is made, where they take it from the manga and then they animate the cells and stuff and move stuff around, like. With the upgrade, in my opinion, the upgrade in visual quality from the manga to the anime, it must take them yonks.
Oh yeah, a long time. Yeah, and it wasn't even a complaint; it was just a fact.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It was just one of them things. It's like
to wait for it.
When you just wait and wait for something. It's like obviously when everybody was waiting. Like, how long was it? Was it like it might not even be this long, but I'm sure it was like 3, 4, 5 years. We waited for season 2 of Attack on Titan. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you got season 1, and then you waited absolutely years.
And now they've pumped them out like there's nothing, and that's
exactly, man. Done. Exactly. Yeah.
But you can always tell the difference in quality. I've always noticed that on Attack on Titan. The first season's quality was incredible.
Yeah.
And then the second best is not the final season. The
season before it. Yeah. I know exactly which one you mean. Yeah. I agree as well. I do completely agree, man. Yeah. It's such a shame when you see that kind of thing. I mean, half the time it's the complete reverse. As we've said many, many times, and I'm sure we'll say many, many times more, Bleach changes completely. But it does it so slowly and so well that you don't even notice until you're like, Ichigo looks totally different. Do you know what I mean? Like, suddenly, seasons later, but not in a bad way, though. He looks different in the sense of, like, a mate you haven't seen for 10 years looks different. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you see that, like, that maturity in the character, And it's like the animation style just changes completely. And to be fair, Naruto does the same thing, I'd say. that has quite a unique style in the very, very beginning. Even when you think about Sasuke and whatnot and how he looks, it just changes completely. Everything's
really
like smooth, right? You know what I mean?
One thing I love about the anime of Naruto is in the fight sequences how everybody looks like they're wearing or a lot of characters look like they're wearing like MC Hammer trousers.
The baggy trial. Yeah, man. But the funny thing is, so many of the fights in part 1
so
were just out of this world. Like the animation, it was just absolutely insane. And that's what I never understood. I never understood why part 1 of Naruto's soundtrack just absolutely shit all over Shippuden. I never got that.
God, yes.
I never got it.
Some of those opening themes are like my favourite tracks of all time.
Music has never got me so pumped when I hear them drums start kicking in. Do you know what I mean? You start, I'm getting the goosies now. Do you know what I mean? Like, never have I been so pumped since.
Yeah.
This is the thing. Like, but the soundtracks, I didn't get that. I really didn't. But I mean, I am very intrigued to. I don't think Sword Art Online, going back to it, is on Shonen Jump. I don't think it is, but I'm very intrigued to see if it is, because it is one that always has taken my interest, especially with the subject matter that it is. Not only is it anime, which I adore, it's a dude goes into a video game. Like, come on now. Yeah, that's ticking all the boxes. That
awesome. I will say though that the novels are better. They
doesn't surprise me.
A lot better though, because there was a big sort of. I wasn't part of this because I didn't understand the anime world too much when I started watching Sword Art. I just thought it was a really good season to watch, and then I watched Gun Gale and thought it was bearable. And then I've watched everything subsequently from then. Alicization is incredible. I love everything about it.
I haven't even started that yet.
Do the novels follow the anime, the anime storyline, or are they totally different? Like,
it's a progressive novel, so it's a little bit different. But the main gripe with the first season, and again, I didn't share this because I didn't understand, and I hadn't read the light novels at this point either. They skip floors and time. Time
so many floors are skipped.
Yeah,
it's insane, isn't it?
When you read the actual
7
novel,
floors, and that's about it. Through the whole anime.
When you read the novel, there's so much detail. I mean, there was a whole water world level, and when Kirito did it in the beta test, I mean, it explains this in the actual novel. When he does it in the beta test, it was all desert, so he was really confused that when he got in there, he needed to create a life raft and things because it was just covered in water, and they were just floating towns and stuff. And the detail what they went into in this novel. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit carried away, but I was really passionate.
Getting carried away is what the SharinGAng is about, son.
What we do,
right?
Yeah, but it was just beautiful. Just imagining it in my head was just, I kind of imagined like an old western, but just covered in water. It's floating horses and stuff.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, and that's what I love as well, because obviously, things like that with your manga and your graphic novels that are manga related and whatnot, they really do come alive. Yeah, they really do. Especially when you really do get this solid drawing and just everything just as it should be. Do you know what I mean? It really does come alive.
The Dragon Ball Super manga far outshines the Dragon Ball Super anime.
Really?
And it starts to sort of go off into there are plot differences that the plot differences get bigger and bigger as it goes on. The manga started behind the anime, in fact, and then overtook it. And then after it overtook it, because there was 2 different teams working on them, the guy that was writing the manga, can't remember his name, just started adding stuff in, and everybody was like, "This is the one." The anime missed out. Okay, spoilers. You've had enough time to go away now. The anime doesn't touch on the fight that all of the gods have.
Right, yeah.
In the manga, before the final sort of tournament of power, they all go at it, and which Beerus comes out on top because he's a bad man. You don't really appreciate how much of a bad man he is until you see him just.
It's all that.
There's only one other god, this clown-looking god. I can't remember his name, but he's the only guy that can even challenge him, and he still comes out on top. But then they don't even touch it in the anime. But in the manga, it's gory almost. It's blood and brutal attacks and nastiness. And in the anime, you see all the fight scenes and stuff, but there's none of that sort of gruesomeness to it at all. And it just made you realize, obviously, that this is what Super should have really put me off. If it was anything other than Dragon Ball, I probably would have been put off of newer anime, because they're clearly catering for a new age of fan.
Yeah.
They clearly are. Whereas older Dragon Ball, what everybody was expecting it to be like, because the man himself is back in charge of it, just wasn't. But hey, we've got the new season coming out soon, hopefully.
Just a quick one on the actual Beerus fight that you read in the manga. I can remember from Battle of the Gods, Beerus was talking to Goku after he pretty much defeated him at that point, going off about how some destroyers in other universes were like even stronger than he was. So in the actual manga, is it just a select number of universes then?
I can't remember how many there was. So there was I want to say it's 13. I don't know why that number. I'm not the guy to ask about smaller details. That is definitely PT all over. Right? I'm just in it for the emotional ride. But there is a certain number of universes, and then the weakest of those universes were like 2 universes had to be erased from existence because the all creator. So I think it was 7 universes or something like that were in the Tournament of Power at the end of the current season of Dragon Ball Super. So Beerus is the strongest out of all of them, but you don't see anything or hear of anything about these other universes yet. Anyway.
So that kind of begs the question is, the other ones that weren't included, I'm guessing they're a lot stronger then.
Yeah,
surely if you're fighting for survival, you'd be.
I mean, even in the manga, from what I understand, they haven't really been introduced yet, and like they're struggling against the current villain quite bad. So he's more powerful than anything they've had before.
Why does that sound familiar?
Yeah, I know. And yet these other universes, which have already been alluded to, haven't even had a play in it. So.
Jesus, and don't be wrong. Like, even with that statement, I still adore it. Like, of all the times that, what is it? Give a little jib to Naruto. It's still my ultimate anime / manga. It's my ultimate. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is the thing. But yeah, it's just a funny thing, and it's just like, currently on Dragon Ball, fighting a villain. Previously on Dragon Ball, fighting a villain.
Yeah. I think that was it though for Dragon Ball, wasn't it? There was nothing else going on about Dragon Ball, or Dragon Ball Z at least anyway, other than just to fight him.
So I always used to wonder why guys weren't getting just blown to shreds after these attacks. And then obviously, when you put time into it, you realise because they're too hard. That's why.
Yeah.
Because they're way too hard for that, right? They're way too hard. Even when people are like losing limbs, they're not bothered. This is the thing.
It's a meme in the fandom now that power scaling is just useless. Like when anybody tries to bring any powers, they're like, "What are you talking about? Power? That was finished like halfway through Dragon Ball Z, mate. It's just completely gone.
No one cares about that
the power
anymore.
Scouters anymore. Did you notice they just stopped using them?
I was going to say, wasn't it super early on that somebody was off the charts? So I was like, there's no point at this point, because everybody we meet after this is going to be even more off the charts.
They made Goku so gnarly, and then they just made him Super Saiyan, which times it by 10, and then the Super Saiyan 2 and 3, which times it by like 100. It's like, how are you even going to measure that amount of like power from a single being?
I love it, honestly. It is that classic. It's just like a meme, guys. Check it out on the SharinGANG Facebook page. A meme I see where it's like, oh no. Anyway, and it's just Naruto in every fight. Every time he's losing, it's just like, well, guess it's the fox. It's just like, oops.
I love that.
With Dragon Ball, what's kind of annoying about that is, though, it's like Goku's similar. But Goku's form is a form that he had and could have used at any point up until the current battle, but just decided not to. And now he's on his like deathbed. It's like, okay, I'm going to use that form now. I'm like, what is wrong with you, you stupid Saiyan?
He just loves to fight, though, doesn't he?
You just love the fights,
That's just, he likes getting that money. Isn't it? He likes that P rolling in, like the manga. I'll extend this fight.
He's got to keep on.
You know, it's how like in you were saying Super Saiyan 2 and Super Saiyan 3. Like, I think one of my favorite scenes in Dragon Ball ever is in Battle of the Gods again, where they're underwater, under the cave, underwater, and he's like, "Do you think I'd let you destroy my world?" And then does that scream, which I'm not going to try and replicate. But he goes Super Saiyan 2.
Yeah.
but he doesn't realize it. Yeah, but then his Super Saiyan 2 is able to be as strong as his Super Saiyan God level.
Yeah, so this
looks like your cells have retained the energy.
Yeah,
from this experience.
It looks like there's a loophole in the contract again.
This is just like a classic Dragon Ball. It's more like a classic Toriyama thing than Dragon Ball.
Man, honestly, I love it.
Toriyama is just like one of the greatest yet one of the worst like writers ever, because he forgets about characters completely. It's like, oh yeah, forgot about Launch. I had intended her to be in Z, but just forgot about her by the time I finished the original Dragon Ball, and she was quite a key character. But he's come with this S cells thing about like how is Goten and Trunks not more, because apparently Gohan was supposed to be the most powerful because he's mixed human and Saiyan, and that makes him more powerful than any Saiyan or any human. But then, and it's all to do with these things called S cells. This was a very recent interview he gave, and somebody like challenged the power scaling and how it works. Things, oh right, it's all to do with the number of S cells any person has. And then the example he gave would lead us to believe that the younger ones would have more S cells, but yet they're useless.
So what you're saying?
Yeah, they are.
He made it up on the spot.
Sorry,
yeah, that's what he does. That's literally what he does. And it's like, but when it's just going from one fight to another, you can do that. You know what I mean? Because that's what people are interested in. As soon as you try to break down the plot, just don't do it with Dragon Ball. Just enjoy it for what it is.
Honestly, he's just dropping cannon left, right, and centre. Man's dropping cannon down wherever he fancies. Seriously, as soon as he gets challenged, it's just like, but wait, there's more.
Fails to realise it. I make the cannon.
Exactly.
The more SLs, the more potential they have, or something like that. And
I am Dragon Ball Super, right?
He is going to be the final boss of Dragon Ball when he finally ends it. Completely. He's just going to be the final boss.
Well, to be fair, every time Dragon Ball Z ended and Goku had to go away. Like Dragon Ball GT ended, Goku had to go away. The place where Dragon Ball Super is set is before the very end of Z, because there was a time skip at the end. And where Super is set is within that time skip. So in theory, the very end of Super should still be the same as the end of Z.
Oh, really?
But what's happening, and GT followed after Z and sort of followed, it followed on the plot from that. But Super now has made GT redundant. So even if it is going to end the same way as Z ends, because it's set in that time skip before the end of Z, what are you going to do about GT?
Forget about it.
Yeah, just
man. Tiny wimey wibbly wobbly. Mate, like, oh dear. Yeah, that's some Dark Souls shit, that. Honestly, that's right there. Honestly, yeah.
Why did the name
ebbs and flows?
Why did they name a series after a car anyway? I'll never know.
The Z and the car and the Supers.
350Z, Toyota GT.
Well, good job they didn't call it Dragon Ball Supra. You know?
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
It's actually called Dragon Ball. It's actually called Dragon Ball Cho. I don't know if Cho is Japanese for super, but that's what the manga's called.
Dragon Ball Drift coming soon, isn't it?
Yeah.
You were about that.
Drift Q.
Do you do much manga, Collis?
No, I'll be honest, no. No. I do some novels. I mean, like it's just I like reading actual words more than I do sort of comics. I realized that quite early on when I was buying like Marvel and DC comics. I actually liked reading it more than I did looking at it, because my imagination
there's words in manga as well, bro. Probably just as much as comics.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah,
no,
I understand that there's words.
The extended description and stuff of an actual like book. If you're reading a book and it's all down to you and your imagination, it gives you the baseline, doesn't it? But then you've got to make the funky tune on your
just
own.
Just imagine if there was an actual Bleach novel, mate. Look how much you enjoyed the anime. Then I told you about the 1,000-year Blood War, and then you went and read that, and it was like, that's fucking insane.
Never have you recommended anything better. I tell you what, honestly, and that's not a bad thing either. Of all the me thinking that like Bleach is done, it's over, and then you're like, no, there's more, and I'm like, what?
The whole point of it, I remember telling you, it's like, you know how like what Naruto was to Shippuden.
Yeah,
well, that is the anime Bleach to the 1,000-year Blood War. I keep calling it 1,000-year Blood Arc. I don't know why.
I tell you what, honestly, that and do you remember my rage like coming to you afterwards once I'd finished it, and I'm like, why has so much canon and character progression been binned? I don't understand. Like the whole series doesn't don't be wrong, it does, right? It does make sense. It finishes and you're like, fair game. But truly, it doesn't. So many unanswered questions, so many like, but wait, what about this? And all of it is answered. All of it is there in 1,000-Year Blood War. And they just decided, nah, forget that.
But you see, at the time, Bleach was an anime. You have to remember that sort of thing was commonplace in anime when it was derived from a manga.
Yeah.
They would just do 1 or 2 seasons, and then the back end, the main portion of the story would just be forgotten.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happened with Attack on Titan. Shingeki no Kyojin popularity blew up.
Yeah.
They got the anime, and then the anime just disappeared for a bit. And as far as I was concerned, that was just another one of those cases, isn't it? Where you only get 1 or 2 seasons.
Yeah.
The first bit of the anime, just to encourage sales of the manga, perhaps. But I don't know.
Well, they focused too much on live action films that were just terrible.
Yeah, I never watched any of them.
I watched the first film, and you know what? It was awful. It was so bad. And then they did another one. I'm sure there was either 2 or 3.
What? There's more than the one Attack on Titan film?
Yeah.
Oh,
there's more than one.
I couldn't finish the first one.
I've not done any of them.
No,
couldn't finish it.
It was shipping characters that just shouldn't be shipped.
There was so much stuff that just shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
Just full stop shouldn't have been.
God, no. That sounds like me with that, what was it? Samurai Batman film.
Did you watch that?
Couldn't get through it, mate. Couldn't get through it.
Batman Ninja or something.
Batman Ninja, that was it.
As soon as they got into the giant mechs, I was out. Straight away. As soon as they got into the mechs in feudal Japan, I was out, right? Out. You start dropping mechs into feudal Japan, even PT's out, right? You've gone one step too far. Right? It's in fucking Transformers.
Really
You've gone too far.
Really upset because I'm a big fan of Batman and I'm a big fan of flipping ninjas and I like anime. And I was like, I was prepared to like it before I'd even clicked play.
Oh, man, this is going to be my new favourite film.
I clicked play, and then, oh gosh.
This is going to be my new favourite film. And it was my new favourite film to fucking hate. Because it was so tragic.
There's like, the number 2 is just going to be like Mecha Batman versus Gojira.
Man, I tell you, I guarantee in some dark corner of the earth that exists.
That is a thing.
Yeah.
Because there are legitimately there is like Batman teaming up with the Ninja Turtles, mate, and that's not a joke. I've seen that one. That's incredible, right? Have you never seen those comics that were Aliens versus Predator versus Terminator? And like Aliens versus honestly, and like Aliens.
There were some crazy He-Man ones as well.
Yeah,
some crazy He-Man crossovers as well.
It was always the AVP with some random, like there was an Aliens versus Predator versus Judge Dredd. Honestly, Dredd is the law in that situation. Let me tell you now, right? Oh, that. And I'll tell you what, on that Judge Dredd bombshell right there, I think that's probably about right to bring it to a close, guys. That
flew by, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did.
I know, right? When you're having a good time, and you listeners, I hope you guys have had a good time. First and foremost, Luke, thank you so much for joining us for this one.
Thank you.
Really have appreciated you being here, man. It's been great.
It's nice to actually speak to Clockwork.
Oh, this is the first time we've actually spoken, isn't it?
The elusive. I know, the elusive. No, mate, it really has been.
PT's chat.
Yeah, that's where I keep him, mate, until I release him for the SharinGANG podcast.
I haven't actually told you, Luke. Clockwork likes Rocket League. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Well, I'll drop you a DM later. Yeah, bro.
There's your 2 cents. Oh, get the cogs turning. But guys, thank you so much for listening. wherever in the day it might have been. And don't forget to like if you do. Subscribe, of course, to the channel for future podcasts and gaming goodness. I have been PT64.
I've been Luke.
I've been Clockwork Nerd.
And I have been that guy.
We'll catch you on the next one.
Dreads manga.
Take it easy, guys. Peace.
Bye.